Man, welcome back to another episode of the Too Klutch Podcast. My name is Steven. I'm your host, bring you everything faith, family, fitness, and mindset. It's been a while since I've had the opportunity to really get on this podcast and share. Um, it's been an interesting year. 2024 has been a little, I wouldn't say challenging, but it's been one of the years that's really coming off of 2023, which was a challenging year. The things that we declared and the life that we wanted to live and the ways we wanted to operate better, those things have really been challenging this year for sure. And one of the things that I personally wanted to share and talk about today is this faith journey that I committed to. Right now it is early April 2024. And I remember back in September, around my birthday, I had committed to really, really had committed to becoming a man of faith. I really had committed to this journey of, getting closer to God and, and all of the things, because obviously at that point in time, I was going through some really, really tough things in life. I was dealing with, easily the toughest, breakup that I've ever had to deal with. And I think that was truthfully because there was a lot of embarrassment attached with that. Somebody who I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with, but my actions didn't match that. And therefore came a lot of embarrassment with that for sure. Uh, and so there was a long road of self forgiveness. And when you are hurt or when you're down, and when you have, you kind of seem like you don't have a way up. And every day you dread getting up, and every day you just don't know, which direction to run to. It's so easy to run to church and pray every day and cry. I'm gonna tell y'all what, man. Like when I went to church for the first time, when I had made this decision, I walked in on praise and worship. I hadn't even heard a word yet. And I promise you, it looked like I was pouring water on the floor, the conviction that I had when I walked in there. And I knew that I was doing the right thing. I knew that I was doing the right thing. I just didn't know. I just didn't know how challenging it was going to be when things weren't rough. It's very easy to turn to God and really be attached to your faith when things are at their wits' end and you need help and there's nobody to talk to. And then the things kind of start to not be as bad and life kind of turns around, because I'll tell you, like this year, um, life hasn't been too terrible, not like it was last year. Even though I know it's challenges, I remember back a little bit earlier this year, first injury that I ever had, got a little bit better. And then I got sick, which I don't ever get sick nor injured. Those are things that have already happened to me at the top of this year. And so finally feeling better physically, in my immune system, everything is great. That's the only troubles that I've really dealt with this year. Doing a lot of forgiveness, a lot of therapy. So I didn't feel broken anymore. And because I didn't feel broken, that's when it's the hardest to stay in your faith journey. Mind you, I'm getting up in the morning at 4 a.m. I'm reading the Bible. I'm praying. That's my time on social media. I was just like, dates, my morning dates with God. Because I wasn't doing anything. I was going to the gym, working out at 5 a.m. And then I decided, to get some clients. Training with my clients in the gym in the morning. Then, that Bible time kind of went away, and, that commitment to watching Transformation Church every Sunday kind of became, a little bit less percentage, that I was completing that, the reading that I was doing, because it wasn't desperation anymore. I didn't feel like I was broken anymore. I felt like I was getting over, um, things. What I want to talk about today is just why it's so hard to have a faith journey, especially today. And the first thing that I will say is the reason why it's very hard to have a journey. And when I say faith journey, I really mean like you're attached to your religious beliefs, if that's what you want to call it. For me, I'm attached to the words that I'm reading in the Bible, the commitments that I made to myself, the honors of honoring women and honoring, the laws of the land and the things that I'm reading in the Bible, and how I should be as a man, as a leader, as a father. These are things that I made my commitments to. And the reason why I feel like it's very difficult to follow those principles, first is when you decide that you're going to be a person of faith and not half-ass faith, like excuse the language, but people who are halfway through it, right? They're literally halfway, say, they'll go get baptized, or they'll say they go to church every Sunday, and they'll say that they're practicing Christianity and all of these things, but they don't have a problem like going out and living and creating excuses for living like a partially secular life, or getting drunk still and having justification for it, and being slightly promiscuous and all of these things. Like it becomes this world of halfway faith, right? And it's very easy because we have so much control now over, we have so much control over people in their opinions and sharing our opinions. Prior to like Instagram and how they let us interact, like no matter what your opinion was, it didn't matter. You didn't have a place to share it. Now we have platforms. Like we have such gigantic platforms, and if you look halfway decent, you're popular, you're funny, or you figure out a way to gain a little bit of notoriety, like your message, you could become a big time messenger. And if you're a big time messenger, you can portray any message that you want, and the people who subscribe to you and what you say, they'll believe it. And so it becomes even more difficult nowadays because people will justify being partially saved or it becomes like this, from this like halfway in, halfway out, one foot in, one foot out, toe dipping type of situation. And I got so confused. I was like, dang, bro, like people that are like commenting on my things about, they're going to church and they're living a faith-based journey and all of these things. I'm seeing them like drinking like crazy on the weekend and, showing out on social media. And it's like, they go out and they're getting super drunk on on a Saturday, and on a Sunday they're watching church, and it's just like it becomes normal, right? It becomes normal because you can't really judge people. I don't want to judge anybody and what they have going on, but what you see becomes normal for you. So, um, the first issue that I have down here, that is why it's so hard to continuously live a faith-based life, is you have to commit to like new surroundings and new disciplines. When I read the Bible and I was reading Proverbs and I started to go through the Bible, one of the things that I understood was like the drinking thing that I keep bringing up. One, I didn't really like to do that much anyways, but it literally says in the Bible it interprets into not getting high. It references high, but essentially to not get high off of anything. And they consider being drunk a high, right? And so understanding like they did drink in the Bible for sure, celebrated with wine, but it was it was like the knowingly getting drunk, like the way that they discovered it, the grapes of the land and mixing them together and figuring out like that's how you make wine. But then, having wine at celebrations was a thing. Jesus, was a consumer of wine. He passed out wine to people, and it was a normal part of celebration, right? As I'm reading the Bible, I'm understanding this, but they talk literally a law of the land is to not overindulge. That's why people like Sodom and Gomorrah was, destroyed, because I mean you take a little bit of things and you just run with it. Um, and so there are so many principles in the Bible. The Bible is, my friend said, it's a book of principles. And there's no way that I can read something knowingly know that that's what I'm supposed to follow. These are not rules to me in my life. And then I choose to make an excuse as to why I can't. Like I literally have not had a drink in a while. And I haven't been drunk in God knows how long. I can't even remember the last time that I was actually like drunk. And now I have a very, very valid reason to avoid these situations. But this is the hard part. It's your surroundings. Everybody around you. I literally got somebody today asking me do I drink, and I said occasionally I might have a drink or two on vacation. But do I go out and get drunk? No, I don't. And they're like, "Oh, okay, good. Well, at least you enjoy yourself on that." I'm like, why is it so normal? It's more normal to go get drunk than it is to go to church. It's more normal. It's more socially acceptable to go and get a bottle and we justify, oh, I need it. Like I'm gonna tell you one thing right now. The reason why this discipline is easier for me, even though this particular journey is challenging. Discipline is one of those things that you get to become strong enough to say I'm not a slave to something. Anything you cannot say no to, you're a slave to. And that's one of the things that I learned of dealing with this getting over this breakup was if I can't get over it, that means I'm a slave to something that was in there or even a person and they control how my feelings go. And if that's the case, and I can't get over it, I'm a slave to it, then I have to figure out how to break free of that prison. People have to figure out, like, eat with eating and dieting, right? People can't diet and they can't eat because they say they love food. I'm like, what do you mean you love food? I love food too. I just love different kinds of food. I love how certain food makes me feel. I love how certain foods make me look. Like, do I like to indulge? Of course, I indulge every so often. But the thing is, it's not a consistent and constant thing that I do. It's if I was explaining to somebody, 85% of your week should be eating clean. Oh man, that's too hard. How is it hard when you're the one that has to go to the grocery store and you purchase the food, or you have to drive to the grocery? You mean to tell me you don't have enough discipline not to buy the food? All my kids, like, what do you mean? Our girls are 9 years old. Guess what? The worst thing we have in this house is buy some chocolate milk and skinny pop popcorn. You know what my daughter's favorite meal is? Ground turkey and rice. You know what her sister's favorite meal is? Brown eggs, because they gotta have brown eggs and wheat toast. They eat what we make me feed them. What's normal? Like I grew up on McDonald's chicken nuggets and fries. That was what's normal for me. And my kids don't. They eat what I eat. Like, I don't know this concept of you gotta buy your kids goldfish and fruit snacks and all. Like, you don't. Like, but they become used to it when you start. And so the discipline is like just don't buy it. They're not gonna die. Or we actually probably keep doing them a favor. And so my whole thing is you gotta have a discipline of saying that I'm not a slave. I'm not a slave to food. I'm not a slave to alcohol. I'm not a slave to whatever things that you feel like you can't get over. And once you can break past that, you get more control over your life. Things should be controlling you. You should be in control. But that's one of the main reasons why it's hard, because people nowadays are slaves to certain things, right? Mostly nowadays is food and alcohol. People are slaves to those things. They have no discipline when it comes to either of those two things. And it's harder to go to the gym or it's harder to eat healthy. People will tell you that it's hard to eat healthy. It's like, no, you have just made a choice to say, I'm not strong enough to blank, blank, blank. And now, like I said, the having to commit to new surroundings, and you always you surround yourself a lot. Great example is my mom, when she lived in Wisconsin, the people that she was around, her surroundings, were not of a health and fitness environment. They didn't go to the gym. They ate whatever, tacos all the time. And it's not bad. Like, these things are not bad. If I ate tacos and if I eat 5 meals, right? I eat 5 meals a day. Let's just do Monday through Friday, right? If I eat 5 meals, let's just do it all month. Let's do 30 days. Out of 30 days, 5 of those, let's just five meals. 5 meals are not on my plan. That's roughly about 70 something percent of my diet wasn't clean. If you can do 75, 80% of a clean diet, only 5 meals out of a month is really not that much. But here's the problem. Most people don't eat 5 times a day. They'll eat once or twice, and neither one of them will be good. But I will eat 3, 4 good meals in a day if I know that I'm going to have whatever later. And then I'll go a week and 2 weeks without, well, even if I have one cheat meal a week, as long as that percentage, that 75, 80% of your diet is, clean eating, you'll be fine. But it's people who have 75, 80% terrible diet is the reason why. And so my mom being in that environment, her coming to California was a complete shift. My mom was now well over 25 pounds. She went back home recently. People like looking at her like, damn, like it's crazy. Your son is good. Yes, because she's now in an environment. She works at a nutrition shop, like at my nutrition club, making healthy shakes and teas all day. And I'm a trainer. I would go to the gym, or she goes to the gym. I got her a gym membership. I had her a trainer for a while, working more in the gym. That's her environment now. So her surroundings have changed. Therefore, who she is, who she's become has changed. You'll notice. And so that becomes the most difficult part about a faith journey is the people who you used to hang around with, they're not on that journey with you. You gotta go find brand new people to hang around. You gotta find different places. Where I used to, you ain't gonna see me. No club no more. I'm not gonna be around certain groups of people because you adapt to your surroundings unknowingly. When you're around people who curse a lot and drink a lot and do whatever, maybe smoke a lot, whatever, you adapt. It becomes just normal for you. Your language. You ever been around a friend and they talk a certain way, and next thing you know, they're picking up on their slang and now you're saying it? Or we see on social media, that's how these trends start. You see, I don't even know a lot of the slang now. It's Riz. I found out what Rizzing was yesterday, but people just take a word and they run with it because they hear it a lot. So it's the same way. So that first reason is why it's been difficult to continuously have a faith-based lifestyle. Number two is all change is challenged. No matter what you want to do in your life, like if you decide that you want change, your ass challenges you. Or what you would desire will challenge you to see if you want what you really want. It's the same thing inside of like your career, right? Take a leap of faith. Most of the time it's difficult at the beginning and eventually you'll have a payoff. Anytime you want change, you decide that you want to start going to the gym. Guess what? It's going to be hard as hell the first couple of months. Until it becomes a habit. It's not going to be easy at the beginning. You want a diet change, it's going to be very odd for you. All change becomes a little bit difficult because it's something brand new. It's a brand new level of life for you. And it's challenged by whether it's your peers or whether it's your family or whether it's just, God himself. You're going to be challenged to say you want the things you really want. And it's crazy how like faith-based challenges are absurd. New music that comes out that you used to listening to. It's very hard for me. I remember I used to ride in the car and I used to play Apple Music. I used to listen to the rap life. Now it's very difficult for me now to listen to explicit lyrics. I'm always listening to the edited version of songs now because it just makes no sense to me. I'm listening to a lot of R&B music, a lot of gospel music, and you get challenged when somebody like Drake, who you used to really love his music, or J. Cole. It's like I'm waiting to listen to the J. Cole album until the edited version comes out. Why? Because it's a habit now. And I could easily go back. Like it's very easy. Just go. All right. Oh, I'm not gonna listen to this anymore. So I decided look. It's Afro beats, R&B music, and then editing music. It's difficult. I'm being challenged, and as soon as I said I want to, I want to live a life of celibacy, right? I want to treat the women that I meet different, and I want to become a husband. All these things start coming from the woodworks. Everybody likes you because you're not for everybody, or you're whatever it is. I don't really know, But obviously that's a challenge. And you say you don't want this. Other than you ask me, are you sure? Like, are you sure? Like, boy, are you sure? And I've had to, I've had to exercise a lot of like levels of discernment, and it was very difficult. It's been difficult. The temptation has been real. And it's been very, very hard not to be like and I've had many moments of like failure when it comes to like conversations and meeting people. And I've failed a lot at who I wanted to be, but it's only designed to make me stronger. I'm way better than I used to be. Before I used to like go for any and everything with two legs. Like it just used to be like that. And now having these boundaries now, because I am very clear with every woman I meet. Like I am very clear that I want to be a husband. I'm here because I want to figure out if this is a path that we can take. I want to have a son. It's so crazy. I said I want to have a son. The first three people that I met weren't able to have kids. One didn't want any, two couldn't have any, because of one, and then not forget, it's specific, but they can have kids. And now it's like people who I was very attracted to, people, one of them, I was like, dang, like you trying to get at me, like what? And it was like, that's a challenge, right? No, you said what you wanted. You wanted to be a husband. One of them didn't. One of them was just trying to have a good time, and the other two were faith based and all this. They just couldn't have any kids. They weren't bad people. So I had to exercise what I said I was going to do. No, I want me a son. I want a name, so I want to pass down my legacy. I want to teach any young version of myself to be better or to be a certain kind of way. So you're going to get challenged. Third thing is, oh man, like this was probably one of the tougher ones. The world, in the narrative in the world right now does not support, faith-based journeys. Just the things that are popular, the things that you see, the music that they're pushing out to us, the food that they're pushing out to us, the things that are entertainment based, things that are designed to make you addicted. They will, man, it seems like they will block or demean these people who are trying to push. I mean, they're trying to cancel, Michael Todd. They're trying to cancel. I forgot his in the basement. I forgot his name, but they're trying to cancel these people. But the thing is, I learned a lot from Ash Martin. I believe Michael Todd is like outlandishly over the top most of the time, 1,000%. His antics like kind of kill me off. But I learned so much from him. His bridging of the Bible with real world understanding today has helped me out so much that I'm starting to understand the Bible. And now it's becoming to a point where I decided to read the Bible. We start going over certain things. I'm like, aha, that's Sheila. I know what you're talking about. I read this before. And so he's helping bridging a lot of gaps for me. And so there's no way that I could ever I don't care about the personalities, the message, and I'm getting the message. I've gotten the message. It's helped me out so much. I can't wait to dive into the new sermon again. This stuff is really therapy, because we don't get a lot of messages like this. And I've had so many people tell me like they don't see men get on social media, one, and be vulnerable, two, they don't see men get on there and talk about like, discipline and faith, and especially people of quote unquote status, whatever that is to you, whatever that means to you. And for me, I've had to have a high level of discipline because, one, I said I wanted certain things in my life, and if I feel like it's not going that way, whether it's job based or women, I've met some really incredible women these last couple of months. But if I feel like the things that the person who I'm called to be is not going to be brought out in these situations, regardless if they're good people or not, you gotta have a level of honesty and discernment amongst yourself to say, well, this is not going to serve who I am trying to become or the place that I'm at in my life right now. So I gotta walk away. And it's been really rough. It's been some rough conversations that have happened, but it's because I know that, and this is my last point is knowing your purpose, right? I'm very much aligned with my purpose and who I'm going to be and the things that I want to accomplish. And one thing I do know is that relationships could take you away or take you up inside of your purpose. And you know that there's a certain amount of time that's involved. And if your person is not rocking with where you're at and where you're going, you kind of got to have hey, look, you're amazing. This just ain't for me. And I've had that happen a couple of times. And because I realized that the world, man, can drift you. Like just seeing on social media. This is why I had a conversation with myself the other day. I said, look, you gotta stop. Just get off social media as much. We all talk about it, but I want to consume a lot less. And the reason I want to consume a lot less because it will have me drifting. And then now you're getting the news, and now you're getting the gossip, and now you're getting the music, and now you're getting the trends. And next thing you know, you're out of your daily habits, your daily routines, your weekly routines. And now you're not going to church as much, you're not reading your Bible as much, or you're not praying every day like you were once. And, next thing you know, like you're way better than you used to be, but you're not where you should be. And that's kind of where I find myself. That's why I get behind this smartphone, because this is also a reminder and a reflection for me. This is literally an open diary. There are some people who will listen to this and they're kind of like, they have no idea why I'm here, what I'm doing. And most of the time, you guys, I sit here and I got this notebook right here. I just got 4 things written down, and I'm just reading off, points, and I'm just talking because, I feel as if, my last point is that this is a very lonely journey. A faith-based journey is a very lonely journey. Truth is, it's lonely. It's lonely when you're supposed to be alone. You're supposed to be alone to be in alignment with yourself because you don't want to be so influenced by the world. You don't want the world to have such a dramatic and drastic impact on who you are. And you have to be okay with being alone sometimes. I really enjoy my alone time and even traveling alone. I might, as much as I want to stay put to really work on my business, I know that there's times where I need to unplug and just be away and be in my own thoughts and sit down and talk because this journey is, I don't know anybody else who I'm around who's on the same journey as me, right? All of the friends that I had and the people I was working with, they are still living the same kind of lives. They're happy, and everybody deserves to live whatever life makes sense to them. But truth be told, this journey of faith is a hard one because you don't really know. So you got to get a whole new group of people and a whole new set of surroundings. You got to have a whole new group of friends, and then your old group of friends, they might not understand why you can't hang around them as much anymore. And this new group of people, like you gotta go in and you gotta, develop these relationships with people who might be as broken as you or going through the same things as you're going through. So then there's a level of trust that has to happen there because you don't know when you walk into that church house or those meetings, you don't know that people are 100% going in a direction. Some more just searching for something. And I've done a good job myself on inviting a few of my brothers, a few of my friends to church with me to a couple of church events. Thank God they decided to come with me. But my job and my purpose, man, is to really, uh, you know, it's many times I gotta kind of dust off my shirt and get realigned and refocused with this. I'd much rather be on this journey, no matter how long it is, by myself. Do I want a partner? Absolutely. We're made to be together. We're made to be mates. Do I want a great role model around my kids? Absolutely. But I can't let that desire take me away from my ultimate, purpose of becoming a certain kind of individual, certain kind of man, certain kind of leader. And this journey of faith is going to test you. So if you're on a journey of faith, if you decided you want to recommit, you want to start going to church again, my advice: one, don't have step this process. You get to dive all the way in, and I understand that it's hard. It's hard because you're like, oh, I don't want to curse as much anymore, or I don't want to listen to this certain kind of music, or I don't want to indulge in these sort of activities anymore. Everything in your life is going to change because people that you're around change. What's fun to you is going to change. What's a good time for you is going to change. Conversations that you have with people are going to change. Places that you spend time with the most and the people that you spend time with the most, they're going to change. They're going to change because you're changing. You have to change. You have to evolve. You have to grow. So if you're going to go in, put your boat all the way in. There's no way I can expect to receive 100% of God's grace when I'm only halfway in. 50% ain't never equal to 100. This is a give or take. I can't actually expect God, even though He's so merciful and grace, He has so much grace, like the forgiveness that He's given to us, even though it's insurmountable. I cannot go into this expecting to get 100% blessings and I'm giving 50% effort. And so for me, I always have to remind myself, hey, bro, you committed to something. I got baptized. And even though it's a very difficult journey and I'm going to fall on my face a lot, I'm going to be challenged a lot. It's going to be difficult. Yeah, I'm building new habits. I'm getting into a new routine. I'm not a normal person. I have a lot of eyeballs on me at any given point in time, and I have a lot of temptation. But God, is using His strongest people to lead people and let them know, like, it's quote unquote cool to not be like everybody else. I see a change. I see secular music, in a sense, if you want to categorize that, but it's kind of not being as popular anymore. Holistic things are becoming popular. Going to the gym is becoming popular again. Eating healthy is becoming more popular again. They're teaching us preventative things such as foods and cigarettes, and like the messaging is slowly coming around because people are getting their own voice and their own platform. When people wake up and realize, man, I might have to do this thing on my own for a while. It sure, like, slowly but surely, people's opinions are starting to expand and they're not being swayed by the world as much anymore. And I'm rooting for everybody, man. This journey of faith is not easy. It's very challenging at times is the correct word. But understand this, remember what I said, the things you can't defeat, you're a slave to. You don't have to be a slave to anything. You don't have to fear nothing but God, and that's it. And even that, I think, I do want to talk about that for a quick second. I was watching the Kanye West clip, like I'm not, I was watching a clip of Kanye West, and he said, "Why do we have to fear God?" And I think people gotta read the Bible, right? Just as I was reading a quote today, where this lady talking about it's not happy life, it's happy spouse, happy house. And a lot of there was a woman who commented and said, she just says anything in the Bible. It says that gosh, a man should love his wife like love the church. And somebody commented and said, don't stop there. What does it say that a wife's responsibility is too? Because most of the time we only start to give halfway the truth. And the full truth is that it says women honor thy husband. And so there's a whole spiel of things on what a man should be and how a woman should be. And there is the happy spouse, happy house sort of correlation that goes on there. So I say that because when I'm listening to Kanye saying, why should we fear God? We shouldn't fear anybody. You're not understanding what he means. And I question if Kanye ever picked up the Bible or not, because when I was reading, and I read the book of Proverbs, the book of John, and I flipped to the beginning. I'm back, Genesis, Exodus, and I'm in Leviticus now, right? And as I'm reading, I understand you're not supposed to fear God. That's not what that's the phrase, but it's not supposed to literally not fear him as a person. No, you fear the wrath of God if you do not do what he says. If you don't follow the law, it's like I should fear the police because if I break the law, there's consequences. If I should fear God because if I break his commands, there are consequences. He gave us a bunch of rules. One of them, I had circled it. It's like, gave Adam all the food of the land is yours to eat. Just don't eat it with its blood still in it. It didn't say only the plants. People said, "Oh, the Bible says to not eat meat." Where? What I read was, and I took a screenshot. I went back, I circled it, and I went back and made sure that I read what I read, and I went back again. He says all and I forget depending on which version of the Bible you have. This is all living things are yours for food, meaning whatever was alive, whether it was fish, whether it was cows, it was all yours as long as you don't eat it with his blood. Because if you eat food with his blood and the whole that can get to be a weird conversation. But as long as you are eating food that is not living, you don't eat living things, then you're anything. He said all of this is for you to eat and for you to consume. There was two commands that he gave also with that. He says, one, don't eat, of course, food that is food that's still living, and don't shed the blood of another man. Because if you shed the blood of another man, then your blood will be shed by man. So he's giving these commands to not kill people and to eat the food of the land is all for us as long as we don't eat living things. He gave us the rules, right? So if and there's consequences with that. There's consequences he gave to everybody really. The whole lineage of Isaac. There was this Abraham. The whole starting with Abraham, right? He gave the circumcision command, like this is my my covenant with you is the circumcision, right? You'll be circumcised, and that's what you'll do to all the males. And if you do not, you will not be in God's favor. He gave you, so that's what you should fear. You should fear not being in God's favor. It's not fear this being because of what he'll do to you. It's no fear not being in God's favor because you have chosen to not walk that path. That's what it means. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I wear the fear of God clothing. I didn't know in that inside practical the Bible. I understood. I didn't understand. Like, what do you mean fear God? Like fear of God, fear of God, fear of God. And then you actually understand that you fear not being in God's favor. You don't fear what's gonna happen to you. You don't fear this individual. You fear not following the guidelines that he's given us on how to be a man, how to take care of your family, how to take care of the land, how to walk this earth righteously. Fear not doing that because of the consequence that he's already given us. It happened to Noah, right? Shoot, it happened. It happened to Moses, right? Moses was somebody who, Prince of Egypt was crazy. First of all, like I thought that movie was in alignment, and you found out it was not. It was super off. I mean, the general idea was saying there was a lot of truth in there, but there was a lot of fallacy for sure, according to the Bible. But Moses was somebody who was in God's favor until he started to fall out of God's favor by his lack of faith. And his lack of faith led him to get everywhere but the promised land. And God is so cold, he showed him the promised land and said, you'll never see it because of your lack of faith. All right, these things show up in the Bible a lot. And that's what it truthfully means to have that fear of God. Is I don't have fear in my heart because I want to live righteously and I want to be in God's favor. So if I'm working towards being in God's favor, that's the only thing that I fear is falling out. I fear falling out of his favor. I fear falling out of his grace. Therefore, I hit the reset button when need be, and we keep it moving, you guys. So, in this world that we live in, you guys, it may be a very difficult thing, and it may seem lonely. You may want to fit in, and you may want to be with a crowd, but trust me, man, there's nothing more rewarding than finding your tribe because you decided to stand out and not fit in. So you guys, look, this has been another episode of the Way Too Klutch Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Crawford, bringing you everything faith-based, religious. So I'm your host, you guys, Stephen, and this has been the Way Too Klutch Podcast, where we bring you everything. So you guys, this has been another episode of the Way Too Klutch Podcast. See you guys on the next episode. Peace.